I bring it exciting.
You're ready.
Okay.
They say people rather die before they talk in front of a group. Have you heard the statistics?
5 is not the other, isn't it?
Isn't that amazing? Rather die.
Like this mentioned
I think
the
it's
other
kind of
time.
funny. Not funny, but just
We're not stupid on lose it.
it is scary to talk in front of yeah, I'm getting there. It is kind of scary to get in there. You have to really know what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm afraid it's going lame. Like you got
No,
that's
the
why
very
I'm
first
not
step is cleansing the good right.
Mine would be like a 13-minute class.
Even the president has notes. So.
Like no questions, no comments.
Yeah, that part would be, well, you'd have to be really...
Because that's spontaneous.
Yeah. Especially if someone asks something really odd.
You buy them too?
I buy them.
You're like,
Oh, okay.
Just
Chant
chant.
Hare Krishna.
You don't know the answer.
Yeah, we brought one up.
Right.
We got on Craigslist, but I don't.
That's a good idea. Just chant.
Yeah, yeah. That's what you get.
Yeah.
That's why I get it too.
Oh, Bishu Dave's giving class.
No.
Oh.
You want him to?
Oh, it's his last
I would like to
day.
hear from you, Prabhu.
That's why I'm sit next to me. Like the old Radha Damodar days. Krishna and Krishna John Swami, they sit together.
Oh, really?
Remember those days?
I don't
You see that? Yeah, they sit next to them and give class.
That's cool.
It's a nice way to give class.
Yeah.
If you run out of something to say, it's like tag.
Oh, we could
The
do
classes go about twice as long though.
Right.
I haven't seen.
Yeah, I've seen like that up in LA where
Oh, is he
where they
staying
have
here?
several swamis,
No,
like
not.
Yeah.
He comes
Guru
in.
Swami, a bunch of Chara Swami.
But I think he had to do something when he left.
Chapter 23, text 3.
All right, everyone can take a seat.
All right. Oh.
I can play the drum if you like.
Okay.
How you doing, Martin? How the pictures come out?
What is it?
How the pictures come out?
I don't know. I don't post them until later. I think that
You were taking the pictures. Were they smiling for you? Are they smiling for you? Do they stand still?
Who?
Worships.
Oh, when they look at me, they rarely smile.
You gotta do a little Photoshop.
It's
A little hide. Should I have the Ruma done it? This little hide. This might be good. So Santosh is our next upcoming Madonna player, huh?
Yeah, it's coming up.
Because the strap has been opened a bit. Find it? Is there anything else I can say to make you laugh? You'll have to share that.
It's comfortable.
Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya
Jayo Radha Madhava Yasodandana Abide. Charanada Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajika Jai Joshua Sisi Maharaj Divine Grace. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Natupati Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Gravantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Shri Goswami Ki Jai. Natupati Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Go! When this is on, can they hear it in the kitchen?
Yeah.
They have about as many devotees in the
They
kitchen as
have
we
it on.
have here. Hmm?
The power's on in there, then they can hear it.
Okay. You want to go check? Or can you hear me in the kitchen? Bang a pot if you can hear me in the kitchen.
Oh, they banged the pot,
You
yeah.
hear that? Okay.
Yeah, they went ding, ding, ding.
Okay.
He said something.
Text 3.
My keys. Close the door. You don't need to hear them.
Ask them if they can hear it.
Okay. This is the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, chapter 23, Devahuti's Lamentation. Text 3. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritam Gurum Chaiva Bhagavatam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jamadire. It's interesting, this thing is.
You got sucked in. What are they doing?
Must be a big breakfast.
They're getting loud.
Okay. Visrijakam dambam cha.
Visrijakam dambam cha.
Vesham lobham agam
Vesham lobham agam
Pramato jyatha nityam. Tejiyam sammatoshayat. Visrijakamam dambam cha. Vaisham lobham agam vadham. Pramato jyatha nityam. Tejiyam sammatoshayat. Visrijakamam dambam cha. Vaisham lobham agam vadham. Pramatyo jyatha nityam. Tejiyam sammatoshayat. Everyone like to chant?
Visrijakamam dambam cha. Vesham lobham agam vadham. Apramatto jyatha nityam. Tejiyam samatoshayat. Visraja kamam dambam cha.
Visraja kamam dambam cha.
Dvesham lobam agammadam.
Dvesham lobam agammadam.
Apramato diya nityam.
Apramato nityam.
Tejiyam samatoshayat.
Tejiyam samatoshayat.
Visraja kamam tam hamcha.
Visraja kamam dambam.
Dvesham lobham agammadam.
Dvesham lobham agammadam.
Apramato yata nityam.
Apramato yata nityam.
Tejiyam samatosayat.
Tejiyam samatoshayat.
Anyone else? Okay, word for word. Visrija,
Visraja.
giving up.
Giving up.
Kamam,
Kamam.
lust.
Lust.
Dambam,
Dambam.
pride.
Pride.
Cha,
And.
Dvesham,
Dvesham.
envy. Lobham,
Lobham.
greed.
Agham.
Sinful activities. Madam. It's interesting, it's madam. Vanity.
Vanity.
Apramata.
Apramata.
Saying. Udyata. Laboring diligently. Nityam. Always. Tejiyasam. Her very powerful husband. Doshayat. She pleased. This is a verse in purport on how to be a very, very good servant. And it doesn't matter who you're serving, but this is how to be a very good servant. Anyone interested?
Yes, of course.
Working sanely and diligently, she pleased her very powerful husband, giving up all lust, pride, envy, greed, sinful activities, and vanity. Please repeat. Working sanely and diligently,
Working sanely and diligently.
she pleased her very powerful husband, giving up all lust, pride, envy, greed, sinful activities, and vanity. Purport, Srila Prabhupada. Here are some of the qualities of a great husband's great wife. Kardama Muni is great by spiritual qualification. Such a husband is called Tejiyasam. Tejiyamsam, most powerful. Although a wife may be equal to her husband in advancement in spiritual consciousness, she should not be vainly proud. Sometimes it happens that the wife comes from a very rich family. As did Devahuti, the daughter of Emperor Swayambhuva Manu. She could have been very proud of her parentage, but that is forbidden. The wife should not be proud of her parental position. She must always be submissive to the husband and must give up all vanity. As soon as the wife becomes proud of her parentage, her pride creates great misunderstanding between the husband and wife, and their nuptial life is ruined. Devahuti was very careful about that, and therefore it is said that she gave up pride completely. Devahuti was not unfaithful. The most sinful activity for a wife is to accept another husband or another lover. Chanakya Pandit has described 4 kinds of enemies at home. If the father is in debt, Ninakarta, he is considered to be an enemy. If the mother has selected another husband in the presence of her grown-up children, she is considered to be an enemy. If the wife does not live well with her husband but deals very roughly, then she is an enemy. And if a son is a fool, he is also an enemy. Murka. In family life. In family life, father, mother, wife, and children are assets, but if the wife or mother accepts another husband in the presence of her husband or son, then according to Vedic civilization, she is considered an enemy. A chaste and faithful woman must not practice adultery. That is a greatly sinful act. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Verse again. again, working sanely and diligently, she pleased her very powerful husband, giving up all lust, pride, envy, greed, sinful activities, and vanity. So the Bhagavatam is filled with, and all scriptures or wisdom literature is filled with two kinds of stories. Stories you want to emulate, and the stories you want to not emulate, right?
Yeah.
There's always the good and the bad, and they're all brought out for different reasons. The reason being to learn what to do and what not to do. In fact, it's interesting, there's one verse in the Gita where it says the demoniac do not know what to do or what not to do. They have it backwards. They seem to do all the things they're not supposed to do and not do the things they're supposed to do. In fact, and they even know better, because there's in the Ramayana, when Ravana is lying on the battlefield, Ram told Vibhishan and Lakshmana to go and ask him some questions, because a dying man usually has some words of wisdom. I should have done this, I should have done that, or whatever it may be.
Don't do this or you'll end up like me.
Right. And Ravana, in this whole section, he spoke many different things. But one of the things he said is, if there's something auspicious to do it immediately. If there's something inauspicious to do, don't put it off as long as possible. And I did just the opposite. Now look at me. What was it? Sita. He was told to return Sita. He wouldn't do it. And what would happen? He was told not to kidnap Sita. He did it. So one of his instructions. It was a good instruction. So here we have the example of, Prabhu says, a great husband's great wife. So both are very, very qualified. Another verse here is talking about how a wife should serve the husband, and there are certain verses too, how to be a good husband. Because you can't expect this type of service if you are a louse. Is that the word?
It's a good word.
It's a good word. A louse.
Little
Wrath, huh?
Little lice.
Little lice are called louse.
General means
That's really cutting it low, isn't it? If you're a husband and you're a louse, don't expect good service from your wife. The wife should not serve a louse like that. So it's because of the great qualities of her great husband that she's serving so nicely. Like that. Even Prabhupada says here, she must always be submissive to the husband, must give up all vanity. I don't know if there's not her word in here too. But the point is, it says the wife should defer to the husband. Surprised my mother once said that too, about her marriage. And she wasn't born in the baby days. But she was just saying, she grew up last year, 30, grew up in the 30s, grew up, married in the early 50s. She had made one statement once about my father. We had different things she always wanted to do, but she deferred to my father. Wasn't a bad guy.
Obviously, the marriage will just explode if you all just.
But you defer, and it was understood. At least nowadays, everyone's equal. When they do weddings, sometimes they want to adjust all the vows. So everyone's equal. Which was pointing out here is there's a certain psychology. Is it the next report?
I think it was one before.
One before, because I read it a little. Okay, one before about the psychology of men and women. Men are very puffed up and very, very proud. They always want to feel like they're in charge. So the secret to a good marriage is the wife lets him think that. But we really know who's in charge, right, in the household. There's verses there. So it's give and take, but because they're great personalities and not controlled by the lower modes, they follow that psychology peacefully. There's no competition. Because there's a higher goal in life. You become Krishna Dharma, righteousness, virtue, and the ultimate being prema, artha, human beings. The greatest goal is not dharma, artha, kama, moksha, but Krishna prema. They have that as the center. These other things, they're actually very, very natural. It's unfortunate that they're trying to adjust that everyone is equal and so on, because it's not natural. Men are very, very puffed up, and they have to, not that they should be over the top and take advantage of things, but they just naturally want to be in charge. And that, of course, that's not 100%. There's some ladies who are very good, the better they're in charge, right? The better they're in charge sometimes, in the household, I'm saying. Just like there's certain societies around the world that are matriarchal, right? Japan, Philippines, like anything, my goodness. brothers. Remember Jayanta? You know Jayanta?
Yeah.
Yeah, and his 5 brothers. They're all 5 L's. Lawrence, Larry, the mother named them with all L's. Imagine when she got angry at them, how difficult it was to kill them. But their mother was like with an iron fist. I know a few people. My son-in-law is Filipino, a little bit Filipino, part Filipino. So there are certain societies where in the household the wife's mother's in charge. That's just the way it is, like that. So here there's a lot to be said in this verse. But we're talking earlier about there are some places in the Bhagavatam, just like we're discussing with the story of Paranjana when he took his birth again as the great king. And then he passed away. When the queen went to the forest and he passed away. So there's many analogies given between disciple and spiritual master, husband and wife. So here also, how to be a good servant. Because we're speaking to an audience of mostly brahmacharis. You're not even householders, let alone women. So it's not a class on how to serve your husbands. I can't tell you. What am I going to tell you? So how to apply in our lives, the point is how to be a good servant. So one thing here, it says she worked sanely and diligently. What's the opposite of sane?
Insane.
What's the opposite of diligently?
Lazy.
Right. So we don't want to be insane and we don't want to be lazy. Like that.
No lazies and no crazy.
No lazies and no crazies. That's an ISKCON slogan, right? No lazies and crazies. So it probably came out of this verse one day. Everybody goes, you know?
Yeah, perfect.
Lazies and crazies. Actually, it's Prabhupada said that.
Yes.
It's the 7th canto. It says that, right? Not a place for lazies and crazies, like that. Because what kind of service can a lazy, crazy person do?
Worse than nothing.
We're better if you don't do anything. Excuse me.
Better to hibernate like a bear than to foolishly
You
like a
simply
monkey.
create pain for your master if you're lazy and crazy, right? Right? They're always doing the wrong thing, or you're not doing anything. What kind of servant is that? So she understood just the opposite. She's very, very sane. That means she understood what her duties are, executed them expertly, like that, very diligently. Like that. Diligently means that you're conscientious of all the details. Like that. Also, it says Prabhupada said a very good servant. There's different kinds of servants. The worst servant is one who has to be told over and over and over. It doesn't even do it right, even though they're told. Right? The next one up is you'd have to tell them that they finally do it. Then what's the best?
Yeah, that's it.
You anticipate. You don't even have to say a word. You read Sarihari's, Prabhu's diaries, or Shruti Kirtis, and they're explaining that. They finally understood. Prabhupada told them that, but they understood that, and in due course of time, they anticipated exactly what Prabhupada needed and wanted.
At a certain time. At a certain time.
Certain time, exactly what's needed, you just know it. That's a very, very good servant. And when such service is rendered, the word here is, she pleased, atoshayat. They became very, very pleased. And this will come out in this chapter, what happened, or what was the result of Kardama Muni's being so pleased, all the blessings you read about. Not just that fantastic airplane flying around the universe, but one of the very first things he gives her is spiritual enlightenment. It's right there, just reading that, just like. And so, we know that from serving the spiritual master. We sung it this morning, right? The spiritual master is the one who enlightens us. We sing that every morning. So some of the bad qualities here, this is like a list of all our best friends. Pride, lust, envy, greed, sinful activities, and vanity. It's like the homeboys, right? It's who we hang out with. Every conditioned soul, this is what it means, conditioned. And these things have to be given up. One thing is, it's interesting, I just want to make one point before we're going to that, is a verse by Chanaka Pandit. It's told sometimes in a different way. There's one point in here. It says the different enemies. The first one, Rinakarta, the father's a debtor. Prabhupada explains this. One reason that is, of course, if you're in debt, there's problems presently. But if you die a debtor, in certain cultures, and Vedic cultures there, guess who assumes the debt? The son. So the father dies. Usually you're hoping there's some inheritance. Come on, let's see. What did he leave us? But if it's just the opposite, he dies, it's like, you're in a very jolly mood today. How many pieces of burger or SanDiego did you have during Japa? He's just like laughing his head off. It's in ecstasy. Maybe it's a book distribution. Very enlivening. Very enlivening. The son has to pay the debt. In one class, Prabhu was talking about some very famous industrialist in India or something like that. He called all the, everyone he owed money to, and paid 1 to 10 or something, paid them all off. But can you imagine that your father dies and then you have to pay $100,000 in debts? And so that way it's the enemy of the family, because the family is responsible for the debts of the father. Okay. And then the next one mentioned is the mother. The mother remarries. Like that. Now, Prabhupada says here, in this particular report, he says the wife is talks, what does he say here? Selected, grown up, does not live well with her husband and deals very roughly. Like that. What is the word? Maybe hag?
Good word.
It comes from Socrates' wife. Socrates had a wife that just would not shut up.
Howard.
Huh?
It's called Howard.
Okay.
Harida.
Okay. She was just kind of very bad mouth and just always complained about him and always criticized him. And no wonder he drank the hemlock. No, that's a little joke there. But that's a historical fact. He was always out of the house because when everyone home, she just like, rah, 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 rah. Just always complaining. And the name for that comes from his wife. So another thing is in Chanaka Shlok, the wife is an enemy if she's very, very pretty.
Howard is a scolding, vicious woman, a hag or a shrew.
Hag is
It goes both ways, though. Satyam bhuya, priyam bhuya. Whatever comes out of our mouth should be very pleasing and truthful. And which is just like the verse you quoted this morning to me. The man should be very expert in speaking sweetly. And actually, Prabhupada said this. You have to be very careful. There's one lecture, some Prabhupada's thing is, you have to be very careful not to speak too harshly to your wife, because she'll never forget it. It just breaks the heart. Very easy to break a woman's heart if you speak harshly. So that goes both ways. It's not that it's, a man can say whatever he wants, and we just have to yes, Prabhu, can't be like that. It cuts both ways. But in this class, Prabhupada said, I don't know, Rupini or what the word is, but in Chanaka Sokha, he said, the wife is very pretty, she's an enemy. And Prabhupada said, in the West, all your wives are very pretty. And all the devotees, Prabhupada laughed. In other words, we're all in trouble. Like, all the wives are very pretty. Like that. And then the last one is that the son is a fool. Right? Son's a fool. It just creates so many problems for the parents. You got to bail them out of jail, you got to do this, you got to do that. Whatever it is, it's foolishness. It's just it's an embarrassment. It's also an embarrassment in a society where family status is important. Why is Krishna telling Arjuna, O son of Bharata, and how these impurities come upon you? It's not at all befitting a person, an Aryan, and someone in such a great family. Previously, it wasn't just all a bunch of Sudras. You had different castes. And how you acted was very, very important. It's like in Europe, what they call them estates. You know that? Estates. That's the history of Europe. That was their caste system. They called them estates. There were 3 of them. The priests, the royalty, and then everyone else. Workers and business people. There weren't 4. And that's why even today, to this day, to some extent, the royalty is very careful about how they educate the princes and princesses. And it was very, very strict in the previous times. No question of mixing with ordinary people and so on and so on. And they were very conscientious about one generation to the next and maintaining the good name of the family. You ever heard that before? What have you done to the good name of our family? So that's why the son is a child is a fool. Just creates so many problems. So pride, there's so many different qualities she gave. I'm sure She's a great personality, and she didn't have many of these qualities at all. But it's just mentioning for our understanding that these things should be given up. Because she could be. What's the main example in the purport is her birth. Very, very aristocratic. She's the daughter of Manu. You know, and she's marrying a sage who's like living in a thatched hut. Now, one could say this should not take place, because you should marry people equals.
Mm-hmm.
So what was their equality was their good qualities. That's what it was. They were two great personalities because of their qualities. And these other things, the material situation was actually not as significant because of their very, very good inner qualities. They're like that. If that inner good quality is not there, you have to be very careful about marriage, and people should be of the same economic bracket, the same morality, the same interest in spiritual life or disinterest, so many different things. There's 13 or 14 different points when you do a chart.
And the same one in the same political party.
Political party,
Right.
religious party, because religion and politics, as they never discuss these at dinner, right? Just immediately when there's a discussion, there's fighting and yelling and screaming, even amongst devotees. Just go to Wednesday mornings in the kitchen, right? If you're a Democrat, don't go in there, right? Work on that one. So what was their equality? They were two great souls, very spiritually advanced souls. So these things weren't so significant. And that's what the point is. It could have been. It could have been. But she didn't. She was not proud or vain when it came to her upbringing and so on. Because she could understand, in that culture you understood who are the greatest people. It's not the king, it's not the royalty, it's the sadhus. They were respected. People understood that the greatest thing in life is to become Krishna conscious. It far outweighs the temporary greatness of this material world. This pride, Krishna doesn't like his devotees to be proud. Sometimes, you know, every day some devotee could speak up, giving up one of these different qualities. And of course, living here in New Govardhan is one of the greatest pastimes of Krishna, trying to curbing the pride of his devotees. In fact, I heard one devotee give class, and they said that actually Krishna, the whole reason he had that whole Govardhan Leela was just to help Indra deal with his pride. Just to help Indra, a devotee, deal with his pride. And because that was blinding him. I was listening recently to a parikram with Satchidananda Swami. He had one.
Satchidananda?
Yeah, the German devotee. Satchidananda, not Satchidananda, Satchidananda Swami. And they're explaining that in details that the reason Indra got so upset, he was very. Anyone here attached to sweets?
Yes.
Okay. He was very, very attached to the sweets he got every year from Vrindavan during their puja. The Malpur. There's one, somewhere in Govardhan, there was an Indian, there was a Maharaj at one temple, and he was going to translate it. The Malpur, he said. The Malpur. So the sweets coming from Vrindavan, because of the devotees and the milk and so on, was so good. Indra expected that offering every year. Imagine if you, would you ever think of taking the sandesh off of Dravita's plate?
No.
And he was told by his ministers that when the sweets weren't offered, Indra Jagana, he said, this boy Krishna said not to give them to you, but to give them to a rock, a hill, instead. So this Indra got so upset, his pride. What? I don't get the sweets, and they're giving to some hill? This is too much. So immediately his pride just took over. And another thing Krishna did to curb his pride was you do important things with your right hand and very unimportant things with your left hand. So he lifted Govardhan Hill with his left hand just to show Indra that you are nothing. And not only with his left hand, but what finger of his left hand?
Pinky.
What do you do with your pinky all day?
Pick your nose.
What do you do with your pinky? Most people don't even use their pinky to pick their nose. It's so insignificant, use another finger, right? So, I mean, what do you do with your pinky? I
Actually,
mean,
nothing.
you stick it out when you take a cup of tea or something. That's about it, right? You think you're British royalty or something. Nothing. It's nothing. And with that, nothing, he just picked up the hill. Like, just a completely frazzled Indra, like that, to bring it all out. And there's so many beautiful prayers after the pastime. Indra said, I could understand. I was blinded by pride. I was so puffed up thinking I was the all in all, and when you're the supreme person. And he said, please forgive me. He said, maybe you won't. Maybe I shouldn't be forgiven, but just remember I'm your eternal servant. And he came to that realization. Krishna did that because he doesn't like his devotees to be proud. Because that pride, how can you be a devotee and be proud? How can you be a good devotee and be proud? Because you can be a devotee and be proud, right, Larry?
No, you can be a dumb bum.
Right. Dumba, means you're dumb. You can't be a very good devotee we can't be good devotees if we're proud. And the gopis, that's another example, the most exalted devotees in the Rasa Lila, Krishna disappeared from them. That's described in even the Krishna book in Bhagavatam. The majority of those gopis were the gopis that were sages at the time of Lord Ramachandra. And they weren't completely purified. Because if you're a very powerful Vedic sage, you probably have a little edge of pride on you, don't you? Right? Very vast learning and austere and so on. So it says that pastime just cleansed out the last bit of their anartas, and they actually came up to the level of the other gopis and so on. But they're very, very proud of two things: who they were, and also they're proud of their service. So it's another thing to be proud of oneself, but even to be proud of what I have done or what I am doing for Krishna. Krishna doesn't like that, and he will take steps. And he says that in his in the Krishna book. Prabhupada writes that Krishna, maybe it's him speaking or the gopis speaking, that as the master you have the right to chastise your servants to help them develop good qualities. You have the right to do that. The father, the mother, the teacher, the guru, Krishna. So sometimes in our devotional service, Krishna really slaps us. And why does he do that?
To correct us.
To correct us. Yeah. When you chastise someone, well, they need to learn something. So sometimes you get very, very proud, and all of a sudden it all comes crumbling down. Krishna does that just to teach us a lesson to be very, very humble and realize that we're insignificant. And there's a nice passage in Burijan's book on japa, which says sooner or later, it's not an easy thing to swallow, but sooner or later we have to come to the realization that we are insignificant servants of Krishna. What does the word insignificant mean to you when you hear the word insignificant?
Non-important.
Insignificant.
Tiny.
Like nothing.
Yeah.
What's it like? Insignificant was a piece of dust you found in my kurta during the kirtan, right? It's a piece of dust. Right? What is it? So we're insignificant servants of Krishna. So until we come, if we're always thinking I'm a significant servant of Krishna, we're off. Now in Krishna's eyes, every living entity is fully loved and very significant in his eyes. But our mentality is, I'm an insignificant servant of the Lord. And Krishna's always working to bring us to that point of having that revelation, because that's our Sanatana Dharma. Trinada Visunitina Paroriva Suhishnamai Damani Kirtaniya Sadhari. One cannot chant the holy name of the Lord unless one's feeling lower than the straw on the street, more tall than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respects to others. Now that doesn't mean like a few others. Well, one or two people I can probably find. No, all others, everyone, because we feel ourselves insignificant with that. So, it's at 8:33. I'll open it up. I was going to read something from the Cleansing the Gundicha Temple about what's in the heart. There's so many things that can be brought up today, tomorrow. Yes?
Maybe it's, to make one comment. I'm always, my brain is saturated with the editing stuff. So one thing that I noticed, this word damba. Now, Prabhupada almost universally translates as pride, as he did here, but at 4th canto, 2nd chapter, 3rd verse, it talks about, I said, I guess, I forget what it is getting married. There are these wives, and one of them is Dhamma, personified, bluffing. You look it up, and this is an important concept to keep in mind, that one of the primary definitions of Dhamma is hypocrisy, bluffing, falsity. And so, when you integrate it, when you read the 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, that is the first quality of the demons. Dhammo, Darpo, Abhimanas. Darpa is the vanity. And that's why Darpana means a mirror.
That's right.
Humanity. The other thing, just a note on Trina Napisuni Chena. Was that the one you did? Hador Api Sehishna. It was my fault for getting the Eva in there, because that's the way it was in the original Chaitanya Charitamrita text. And I said, we have to standardize this. Tador Eva. But actually, in older texts, older copies of the CC, it's Api, and that's the way Prabhu would always chant it. That's the way Bhaktisiddhanta chanted it and all the disciples. So Tador Trina Api Sunishana Tador Api Sehishna means more tolerant than a tree. Which is
it's two Apis.
Rather than as tolerant, it's a bit more tolerant.
More tolerant than a tree.
That's all that's.
When you're reading these qualities, these different bad qualities, you have to give up. I was thinking about Prabhupada speaking to Yamuna Devi about her skill in cooking. And he said something to the degree that, yes, you're very skilled in cooking, but you should teach others. And if you don't teach others, you'll become envious. Which is interesting because, generally you think of envy as that somebody has something that you don't, and you feel some jealousy, you want it. Or, as Srila Prabhu points out, Prabhupada's use of the word envy sometimes, you shouldn't have envy even towards an ant, which means you shouldn't have any malice, killing the ant or whatever. So, maybe you could just comment on what Prabhupada was, the idea behind that if you don't teach others, you'll become envious.
Well, it can be in the line of what you're saying as far as malice towards others. Like, why won't you teach them? I'm better than they are.
Yeah.
You want to hear a funny story about that? Lala Lee told this story about Gandharvika, that in the old days, Lala Lee was very competitive with Gandharvika as far as who could cook the best in many different ways, And she always, Gandharvika to this day makes fantastic cheesecake.
Yeah.
So she was always asking her, can you give me your cheesecake recipe? She said, no, I'm not going to give it to you. So come on, it's like the best, I'm not giving it to you. So this went on for many, many months and so on. And then there was some time where Gandharvika needed Lala Lee's help on something. She said, I'll help you, but in exchange for that, I want your secret cheesecake recipe. So Gandharvika said, okay. Page 52 of the Higher Taste.